Hey guys, it's your boy Isan with the Nissan here, and today will be the first episode in my mini-series called Life with Manual. The first topic I'm going to go over is clutch issues, because that's something I ran into recently. I drive the Nissan 350Z, if you don't know, a Fairlady Z Z33, as it's known in Japan. And yeah, so my clutch went out the other day, and I just want to tell you what's wrong with it, how to notice what's wrong with it, how I figured it out, and yeah, let's go from there. I'm gonna start by showing you the clutch and how I realized it was going bad, and then we'll move on to where the reservoir is and all that. Those of you who have never seen a manual before or don't own one, there's three pedals, right? You got your gas, brake, and the third one here, this is your clutch. This is what I'm going to be talking about today. You see how it goes down and it pops up and makes a weird noise? That's not normal. It also doesn't always like to come up all the way, especially when I'm driving. It'll get stuck in the bottom position and then I have to lift it with my foot. And because of this, I've ran into some issues with it trying to go into gear. Like it doesn't want to go into gear while the engine is on or running. So if you want to be able to drive and your clutch is out like this and it's not working very well, you can do this by starting the car with it in gear and then pulling off afterwards. Same with reverse. If it's causing issues trying to get into reverse, you can put it in reverse, start it, and then start driving in reverse. Okay? But that's not normal, right? So we're going to move on to the engine bay. I'm going to pop the hood real quick, and we'll move on to there. Alright, now that you've got your engine bay open, you're going to come over to the side that says brake fluid, and you're just going to open this tab up. This is specific to Z's and maybe G35s, but most manuals will have a master cylinder and a slave cylinder, or they all will actually. But this right here is your master cylinder reservoir, and right in the back there, that little metal thing, that is your master cylinder. Your slave cylinder is below the car on your transmission. My car is actually too low to the ground right now for me to actually see it, so if I go into the shop, I'll mention it or take a picture of it and show it in my post. So stay tuned for that. But your brake reservoir, or your clutch reservoir, and some different models, they'll have brake fluid of different kind, but for the 350Z, this brake fluid is, our clutch fluid is .3 brake fluid. So you'll take the cover off. At first, when I had this, it was a little dirty, right? The oil was full, and at first we thought, yeah, maybe there's air in the system. So what I did first was I sucked all the old fluid out with like a syringe and cleaned out the inside of it, and then I flushed it with brake fluid and bled the system multiple times and kept topping it off and bleeding it multiple times through the slave cylinder. And the slave cylinder is under the car, like I mentioned earlier, but basically the master cylinder tells the slave cylinder what to do through the input of the clutch pedal and whatnot. So after bleeding the system and cleaning the fluid or changing the fluid, I've come to realize that there's not just air in the system. The master cylinder or the slave cylinder has gone bad, and usually you'll be able to tell, like, oh, there's a leak in the system somewhere, because the reservoir will go down. But with the Z and some other Nissan models, I believe, the master cylinder or slave cylinder tends to leak internally, And when it does that, you won't notice a difference in the clutch master cylinder reservoir because the leak is internal, so it's not really leaking externally, so the fluid's not going to go down. But that being said, if you bleed the system, you flush the system, and the clutch pedal is still spongy and sticky, that is a sign that your master cylinder or slave cylinder has gone bad. And I've come to find that out the hard way. So the next video in the series might be a little while before that happens because I have to get this into the shop and get it repaired. But if I had the parts and whatnot, I would do it myself. But I also have to get it inspected to pass shock hand anyways, so I figured I'd just have the shop do it while it's there. But yeah, so that's the way to tell whether your slave cylinder or master cylinder has gone bad in your clutch. Now, if your clutch is spongy like that, it could be other things too, like maybe you could have a bad throwout range, or maybe it's a bad spring, or other things, but typically you're going to run into bad master cylinder, slave cylinder. And for this car, if one goes out, the other shortly behind, or they'll both go out around the same time, so just better off to change them both at the same time. And that'll be it for this episode. Hopefully it helps anybody who's got this issue or ran into it recently and didn't know what it was. Definitely feel free to message me or hit me up if you have any questions or if you like the video. Alright, that'll be that. Isan with the Nissan, signing off.